Hey, what is going on YouTube? My name is James and welcome back to another video. So today we're actually going to be discussing something that I find really cool, and that is Citizen Eagle 7. So for those of you who've been following me on social media for a while, especially Instagram, you'll know that I've been collecting these like a mad person. I decided that I wanted to set up a sub-collection within my collection. So basically a collection of other watches that's within my collection, if that makes sense. And I decided on the Citizen Eagle 7. So today's video is going to be discussing why I truly believe these are the best value watches on the vintage market right now as of the time of recording this video. I truly believe they are, and I'm going to show you some great examples of these watches because I have 6 lined up right here. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about them. If you guys would like to see a real in-depth history overlook of these Eagle 7s and really dive into it deep, let me know down in the comments because I'd love to do something like that. Now, before we dive into this, I just want to say I have written an article for these beautiful watches over on Two Broke Watch Snobs, so make sure you go check it out. I'll leave a link down in the description. Check it out after this video is finished, and after that, also give their podcast a listen to. They're really cool. There's 2 guys and they do a podcast pretty much every week, and their website is awesome. They've got loads of reviews up on there. So if you're into sort of vintage and not so expensive watches, I think you'll really enjoy their page. But now let's change perspectives and take a closer look at all these Citizen Eagle 7s. So here we are, we're going to take a closer look at the 6. Now just before we do, a quick wristwatch check. Now this watch I'm about to show you, I picked up an absolute steal on eBay a couple of days ago, and I am super happy with it. So here it is. It is a vintage Oris from what I believe to be the 60s. It's on this terrible strap at the moment, which I plan on changing. It's what came with it. Now, this isn't a solid gold watch, but it's not gold tone plated like this. So gold tone plating is where they plate it to the tone of gold. This is actual gold plated, which means it's plated with real gold to 10 microns, which is pretty freaking cool. As you can see, it's got like a patina spot in the center, which if I'm not mistaken is due to light, although it could be some sort of damage to the dial itself, though it doesn't seem to be any damage. There's obviously a crack on the crystal right there, and so far it's actually running fairly well. I really like this watch, and as you can see, it's not awfully small. Obviously it's not a large watch, and it's definitely not a small watch by any means, but it's okay. I've got 6 3/4 inch wrist, so it's okay. I've got a glove on as well to go through these. So as you can see on the table, I've got six Eagle 7s, and I think they're all different enough to merit their right in a collection. As you can see, this one right here is a ladies one. It's 26mm. It's far too small for Nadine, or for what she feels is far too small, which is fair enough. But this is a really cool one. So as you can see, it's got an Arabic date, and it's an automatic movement. Now, the Citizen Eagle 7s typically use a movement called the Miyota 8200A. For those of you that are not aware, Miyota is owned by, Citizen-owned Miyota. Miyota are a movement company, and they're made in the same place that they make the Citizens. Now, also you will see their movements commonly used with Bulova, or Bulova, however you say it, because they share the warehouse and the rights, or whatever I can't remember. I think they're owned by the same company. But this one right here doesn't use that movement. It uses a different Miyota. I can't remember which one. Like I said, if you guys would like me to go pure in depth about these watches, I can do. It will be in like a separate video where I truly break down the movements, talk about it all in detail. But this one uses a different one. It's like similar to my Secondas, where you pull out the crown all the way and it changes the date, as you can see. So yeah, it's not working perfectly. I picked it up for a pretty good price, so I'll probably get this serviced at some point, just so I've got an example in my collection. Obviously this will never get worn, but it's completely original. It's in really good condition, to be honest. It just needs a service, and it's got the original Citizen bracelet. The Citizen Eagle 7s typically came on these Jubilee style bracelets. Now, there are a few exceptions. I've seen a couple out there that are not on the Jubilee bracelet, which I plan to hopefully get a hold of as well. This sub-collection I aim to sort of have as an example of what you can get in the Eagle 7 range. So far, I feel like I'm doing a fairly good job. But this is the ladies one. I think one day, maybe when I have kids or something, I guess they could wear this if they're at all interested, because it's a small watch, it's a cute watch, it is an automatic, and it's a very, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. So next we're going to move on to what actually started my obsession with watches. So this Citizen Eagle 7 is not only a really great example of an Eagle 7, but it's also what really kickstarted my obsession with watches. It was my first proper automatic watch that I truly fell in love with, and it's just worked perfectly ever since. Now, I got this serviced by David at Bench Dwellers UK. I'll leave a link to that video down in the description also. It's called My First Service or something like that. He's serviced a fair few of my other watches, including this one, and I'm going to send a lot more off to him soon. So David, get ready for a load of Eagle 7's, but this one is on the original Jubilee bracelet as well. Now, this watch is an exception because it's been truly worn. Like, this watch had been worn a lot, as you can see by that stretch in the bracelet, and there's a couple of the links that are far too stretched out, as you can see. Like, the gap is ridiculous. So it doesn't wear awfully well, but it's definitely still wearable on the bracelet. Obviously, you can swap it out to a strap, which I have done with this alligator grain style strap from Watch Gecko. Looks really, really good. But as you can see, it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful watch. It all in original condition. If you are buying Eagle 7's, I've got to say, you got to be careful. Indian redials seem to be the thing at the moment for these. They're just getting absolutely butchered, and you can usually tell by the crazy colours. Now, Eagle 7's have been known to come in some different colours. I've owned a blue dial one in the past with like a corum shaped bezel or corum shaped case, and it was absolutely beautiful. Regret selling it. So there are exceptions, but you just got to be careful. Typically, the Eagle with the 7 inside is bigger, and the Citizen writing just doesn't look right. You can usually tell, in my opinion, but I see a lot of people out there getting them and thinking they've got a normal Eagle 7, and in reality, they haven't. Typically, they use the same movement, so I guess it is just a redial. It's not a complete Franken watch, but for me personally, I just want to own the real thing like this. It's absolutely beautiful. And the next one is the latest Citizen Eagle 7 that I picked up, which is this full yellow gold monster. Now, I've owned a two-tone one in the past, which I sold, and I also regret selling. I had the black dial two-tone. The two-tone was nice, but this one's full yellow gold, and as you can see, it's starting to wear off because it is just a basic plating. It's again got that beautiful fluted bezel, and this one's running really, really well. I'm probably going to send it to David and ask if he thinks it needs a service, because the guy is brutally honest. If it doesn't need a service, he'll tell you straight up and like save you a crap ton load of money, whereas he could just do what most watchmakers do. Oh, it needs a service, when really it doesn't. But anyway, I'll get a new crystal put on, because as you can see, this one's scratched to death, but it's a really, really awesome watch. Now, I'm not a fan of yellow gold, but this has just grown on me massively, and I actually find myself wearing this quite a bit. Wore it with a suit as well, and it looks pretty 70s Wolf of Wall Street. So there is that one, absolutely beautiful. I love the black dial, it's just so nice, and as you can see, you'll see a reoccurring theme when you look at the dials. I'd say if you're out there buying, watch this video and just really assess the dials, and you can really tell when a redial is a redial. You can look at the Eagle 7, 21 jewels in the Citizen where it says automatic, it's crisp. Whereas with a redial, it's usually pretty off. The Eagle 7's just huge for some odd reason. But yeah, there's that one. Now, we're going to move on to the oddball in the group. Now, this one doesn't look the same as the others. Now, the Citizen and Automatic and the Eagle 7 are all the same size, but as you can probably tell, the fluted bezel doesn't look exactly the same. The fluted bezel is actually wider, and the watch itself is fatter, and it has a much larger crown, has much larger battens on the dial, and it has much thicker hands. And also, let me move this out of the way, it has a Japanese date wheel. So after doing a load of research, what I found out is this is a JDM model of the Citizen Eagle 7. For those of you who don't know what that means, JDM stands for Japanese Domestic Model. These were the ones released in Japan back in the 70s and 80s, and they are different to the American or European market Eagle 7s that you see in my left hand. These ones are really, really difficult and rare to find, hard to find, sorry, and that makes it quite rare. I was looking around, I've not seen another one like this since. If you guys own one, send me pictures on Instagram. I find them absolutely fascinating. So I've nicknamed this one the Citizen Eagle 7 Fat Boy, and the reason I've done that is because in the Rolex world and the Datejust, there is the thing called the Fat Boy, which is basically a Datejust which is just larger, it's got thicker hands, it's got basically everything this Eagle 7 has in comparison to the American market or the European market one. So it's nicknamed the Fat Boy, and I absolutely love this. I actually sold it at one point, and unfortunately the seller wasn't happy with it. He said it was running like 5 minutes a day, so he sent it back to me. In reality, it was only running about 20 seconds out a day, so he just wanted his money back and he didn't want the watch. Fair enough, I'm glad I got it back because I absolutely love it. And also it's got a slightly different case back to the rest, so as you can see right there, There's the case back, and there is a way to tell the age of the watch via the case back. There's plenty of articles out there, so I'm not going to go into detail on that one. But this is the typical sort of international market case back right there. So there you go. There you can see the difference. So there is them ones. Absolutely love my Fat Boy. I wear it quite a lot. I've got it on this sort of grey suede strap, which just works really, really well. Next is the fluted bezel version of this one. So it's the exact same watch, the exact same everything. As you can see, it's just a normal generic Eagle 7. It's just this one has the fluted bezel and this one doesn't. Also, the lugs are 20mm as opposed to this one being 18, or the other way around, I can't remember. Either way, it's slightly different. Let's have a look. 20, yeah, so this is the 20mm lugs and this is the 18mm lugs. So the fluted bezels, not all of them, but some of them have larger lugs. I'm not too sure why. I'm still trying to do some research into that. I think it might be to do with the age. So the Jubilee bracelet, sorry, I think came into the market first on these, and then they started swapping it out and doing the 20mm. So there's a little bit about that. And then the last one is one I have no clue about. I picked it up for a £5. I don't believe this Eagle 7 to be a proper dial. I feel like it might be a redial. If it's not, then it's really, really cool. As you can see, it's got like this rainbow effect, glossy sort of dial. The Citizen just looks a bit off to me. I don't know why. The Eagle 7 looks okay, but 21 jewels just doesn't look quite right. Let me put them next to each other, see if you can see what I mean. Like, it just doesn't look right. So I believe this to be a redial. Now, I picked it up for a £5. It's not working. It's got a proper Miyota 8200 movement in, so it's got the real movement. The reason I picked this up was because I believed it to be a redial, and I wanted to use it as an example of what a redial is. As you can tell, the automatic is very thick. The 21 jewels is just huge. And it just doesn't look right. Like, it's actually 34mm as opposed to 36 as well. The bezel's just like pretty weird, but it's got a real 8200A movement in. So what I plan to do with this one is learn to service an 8200A at some point, because of me collecting so many of them, I think it'll be useful for me to know how to service them myself. Or it'll just be quite fun. Also, as you can see with the case back, it just, the way, like, that's stamped in, like pretty obviously stamped. You can see where it's like dented in. I don't know, there's just a lot of things don't add up about this, and it's quite thick as well. Let me know what you guys think of this Citizen Eagle 7. I believe this one to be a redial. Anyway, now that I just spent 10 minutes walking through all the Eagle 7s, I want to tell you guys why I think they're the best value on the market. So you can pick these up anywhere under around £50 on eBay, depending on quality, depending on service history and stuff like that. Now, if you were going to go to someone who owns an Eagle 7 that is completely original, like this one, that has been serviced, and it can prove everything is original, you're looking at a lot more than 50, I'm afraid, because you've got that guarantee of it being all original, and you've got that guarantee of it actually running perfectly. Now, these are watches from like the 70s, so they are not always going to be running perfect. Like, when you get a watch, typically it might be 20 seconds out. This one was about a minute out, unfortunately, but I got it sent off for a service. It's now running like a couple of seconds a day. Honestly, it's like ridiculous. David did a really, really good job of it. Same with this one right here. So, you can pick them up for under 50 quid if you're going to hunt yourself, and I think that is a ridiculously good value for a true vintage watch that you can get in so many different variants. You know, fluted bezels, yellow gold, you know, Fat Boy JDM models. You've got all sorts of options, jubilees, non-jubilees. There's like rare blue dial ones with the quorum shaped cases. There's so many options here, and not only do you get a true vintage watch with vintage heritage and history from a really good brand, you also get a watch with a day-date complication, which I find incredibly useful. A day-date complication right there. It's running a really reliable movement, which does have manual winding. Sorry, it's automatic. It doesn't have hacking, unfortunately, but I just can't help but think that this is the best value on the market at the moment in the vintage world. Under 50 quid, a day-date complication. Obviously, the Seiko 5s are competing against these, and I get that. Personally, I prefer these over the Seiko 5s. I just feel like they're built better. That's me personally, and I've owned a lot of Seiko 5s before people start shouting at me in the comments. I just personally feel these are built better, and they've got a better movement. I know, everyone's going to attack me for that. I'm talking vintage in the 70s. I still really do believe these are better. But that is all my opinion. and I am completely open to hear what you guys have to say. Like, you can pick vintage Oris up for under 50 quid also. I would say this is incredible value. Like, that's real gold being plated over stainless steel. I know it's not exactly the coolest, but still, you get my point. And look at it, it's really cool square watch with awesome sharp lugs. Like, it's beautiful. I got this for under 50 quid. And you could probably find them under 50 quid if you do a load of research and look around and wait and get lucky, like I did. But I still believe these are the best value. I want to know down in the comments what you guys think are the best value vintage watches on the market right now and why. This is all just a discussion. This is my opinion, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video of me running you through my sub collection and, you know, giving you a little background on Eagle 7's and why I think they're so great. If you did like it, leave a thumbs up and don't forget to check out my other videos. Thank you for watching, take care, and peace out.